sometimes like, I will go to a bunch of different tools to get the output that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But then the problem is like they all have like slightly different qualities, and then it just feels a little less consistent in the output. If I'm combining shots from Luma and combining shots from VO, maybe each shot I'm getting what I want.
There's not a consistency across the
like a different style
whole sequence. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
And it's similar to, sensors or film stocks. And that's the reason
you can't go from a cut from a Blackmagic camera to a red camera unless you have a really good colorist that can match the two.
Right.
But then the AI generation is so baked in, it's hard to modify that.
All right, welcome back to Denoised. In this episode, we're going to try something a little bit different than our usual format. We're going to try more of a This Week in AI kind of roundup format. So we're going to try that on Fridays for a little bit. So let us know how it goes, a little bit AI-centric. That's for you, Matt Workman. Not changing to AI land yet. Taking a very broad approach of what the definition of virtual means. This is all virtual.
Yeah.
I think it's all virtual.
We're in the simulation.
Yeah.
VP land.
Latent space. Yeah, it's all virtual. We're not talking about LED walls here. So yeah, we got a handful of stories, mostly that came out this week, some that came out last week, but we weren't around with summer schedules. So yeah, let's jump into it. The first one is kind of going crazy on my feed today and yesterday. Midjourney now has a video model.
Yeah. Very exciting. Midjourney was one of the OGs of image generation, 2-3 years ago now?
Yeah, when you could only use it on Discord.
Yes.
For a long time. I mean, they just launched their web portal, I don't know, maybe end of last year. Yeah, the OGs, also in a lawsuit.
Yeah, so the Midjourney lawsuit, that's really interesting because this is the first time, look, we all knew that you could generate IP like, Iron Man or Spider-Man
Yoda
on a lot of models, not just Midjourney.
Yeah.
And this is the first time the studios are actively going after them.
Yeah, for the outputs, this is Universal and Disney.
Yeah.
For like specific outputs of like Yoda and some of the comic book characters.
Yeah.
I did see some commentary that they were going after Midjourney because they are the least funded out of all of the major generators and might be the easiest target.
So they want to kind of obliterate them.
Or set a precedent.
Or acquire them.
I don't know. I'm guessing either I don't know. But I mean, they're all doing their own internal AI stuff as well. I don't know. I mean, I think this goes back to what we talked about before, where I still think the focus is on the outputs. And it's like, sure, put blockers in these things where you can't generate IP protected characters.
It's already been trained. Right.
Yeah. The training stuff's out.
Yeah.
That Pandora box is open.
Yeah.
And even if like maybe these specific models were shut down because they were trained on IP data. Now the models are big enough where and we know like looking at DeepSeek and other models where it's like we can train models on less material and still get better outputs or as good outputs.
Sure.
I think what outputs you create with that and putting protectors in for that to prevent infringing on IP, I think that'll probably be the outcome.
I think so. Yeah. Look, one thing the studios have to be careful of is they're relying on AI technology to take them over the hump that we're experiencing right now into another era of prosperity. Not just media and entertainment. I think a lot of other industries like fintech, martech are all relying and looking at AI to go through the hump of efficiency and sort of the next generation. And one thing they can't really do is stifle innovation and kind of crush the promise before it even has a chance to hatch and become something that's meaningful and provides a lot of value.
And not to bring up global policy and stuff, but also, I mean, China has competing models that are just as good, and they don't care about IP
you
at all.
You cannot regulate, 10-cent models or Alibaba's models.
Yeah. So, if these get slowed down, it's not like it's going to stop.
Having said that, I do see, of course, intellectual property is a studio's main source of revenue. It is worth its weight in gold. That's what they really are about, right? So if they have IP, like if they bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion, then Yoda is a very real asset with a real price tag on it. You can't just go around generating Baby Yoda or Yoda anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Protect the outputs, the training, whatever. But the outputs, add more controls on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But now going back to the
V1 video model.
Midjourney from innovating. So the V1 video model. So this isn't a huge surprise because there's been a lot of talk for a few weeks about the video model coming. The main headlines around it, 480p out of the gate. So pretty low compared to the other ones. I feel like every time there's a sub HD output, Topaz is like, yeah.
Dude,
gotta run through Topaz, which we will talk about in a second.
Yeah, a lot of image generation models, like at its core, are like 760 by 760 or 1024, 1024. But then they could, with enough upscalers and downsamplers on either side, you don't even notice it.
Yeah.
Because it's able, like stuff like Topaz, it's able to generatively fill in the details.
Right.
Not
you
just
have the
upscale.
base image, right? You don't need as much compute.
Yeah.
To get to that finish line. Durations, I believe, are 5 seconds, but that has a built-in extend feature, and you could extend it up to 4 times. So you can kind of get a 20-second-ish clip out of a total. And then it's got 2 motion settings. So compared to the other models, I mean, pretty limited settings for now, but they've got a whole pipeline of
I'm really excited about the high motion setting because all of the AI stuff that I look at, all the AI films that I look at, they all feel either static camera or just like a...
Really?
Yeah. Like
I feel the opposite. I'm excited about the low motion because I feel like everything I see is like some epic sweeping shot of something moving. And it's like, what if you just want a nice chill, like background play kind of shot?
Oh, okay. So I was thinking like in terms of the oneer in the studio.
Yeah.
Like how would you do that with AI? That would be a high motion thing because you're moving, traversing through space, 3D space, going up the stairs. And the entire time you have like a handheld shake to it.
I didn't publish it, but I was trying to replicate a studio-ish shot.
Oh, come on. How could you not show that to me?
For the Inside the AI Studio trailer, which also wasn't finished yet, but I'll do a trailer after the series is done. But I was trying to replicate that using VO3, and so it was a lot of just text to image prompting and some success of like following a character running through like sound stages and stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I don't think text to video is gonna be the way we do things.
No.
Like it has to be something more like a spline or something more controllable where you're clearly defining the camera arc, and Stable Virtual Camera was like a good attempt at that. Like, no, define the path through this 3D environment and then control the pace and the ins and out points and all that stuff.
Yeah, and seeing something like the Stable Camera is... I mean, I haven't really seen anyone else do it-ish like that because it's sort of any of the tools that do offer camera controls. It's either like a preset motion or Runway's Gen 3. I mean, they haven't really brought a lot of the features to Gen 4 yet, but Gen 3 had a pretty cool one where you can kind of click and drag to define what kind of camera motion you wanted.
Yeah. Speaking of Runway, Cristobal, if you're out there listening, we'd love you on the show. So hit us up.
All right. Yeah, good. Shout out. Yeah, you just retweeted one of our tweets. So yes, please come on the show. Yeah. The camera control, yes, is lacking in a lot of the tools. Text to video. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's just like the first stop when they launch the model. And then they roll out the other features. Like even VO2 was originally text to video, and then now they've got image inputs and faster models. And so it's just like...
Yeah, the in-between frames is a good attempt at putting in granular control into what is video generation could be anything, right?
Yeah, and then also even at the other extreme end of video to video.
Yeah.
And, I've just been seeing crazy outputs with Luma's new modify video feature, which is outside of Runway, pretty much the only other true video to video. We can give it an input video, give it some input images, and...
well, Pika does a good job at that stuff, too.
They do video to video?
Isn't that what John Finger does?
He does a lot. The stuff he's been posting lately is all Luma.
Okay.
And I think he's been like consulting or working with Luma.
Okay.
Pika, you could modify the video. You give it the video and you'd be like, that was the one where
it's like an in-painting model.
It was like an in-painting thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess maybe you could style transfer the entire video, but...
Yeah.
Luma's has been wild with what it can do and what I've been seeing online.
Yeah, no, Luma's pretty powerful for sure. Yeah, I'm excited about, look, the more tools we have out there, the better. And what I'm realizing with a lot of the video models and the image models is every one of them is a little bit better at something than the other one. It's like in the car, like
they're all flavors.
Yeah, it's like BMWs are going to be better at cornering. Mercedes is going to be better at soft luxury.
I mean, for a more appropriate metaphor, I just think of film stocks.
Go for it.
Different film stocks, they were known to have different qualities, different looks, better for low light, better for outdoors, better for different skin tones. Yeah. The more you mess around with the different AI tools and you find it's like, okay, this one's better. Like VO is very good at photorealistic looking outputs. I found it's not that great when it's like a little bit more stylized. You're trying to do something a bit weirder. The Runway or Luma tend to be better with that. If you're doing animation
and stuff.
Yeah, or just the type of material trying to do like an animation. If your images are that you're trying to use for image to video are animation images, and some other models work better for that. Midjourney, I would guess, would probably be a lot better at that because so much of the material on Midjourney is like very surreal, very stylistic, and the outputs that I've been seeing online are in that realm of that surreal land, and now seeing it come to life with video, it looks very good. Realistic stuff, might not be its strongest point. But also the outputs are 480, so you're still kind of battling with.
Yeah. I still want to see like a Spider-Verse style, very stylized and also really aesthetically pleasing and dreamy style of storytelling that's somewhere in between pure 3D Pixar style animation and, photoreal live camera. Like it's somebody, please. The tools are out there for you.
I had another meeting with my Dolphin Level collaborator, and we have another project that we've been talking about that has a stylized look like that. So experimenting with that. We'll keep you posted.
Awesome. Okay. Joey, you're not telling me enough, man. All the side hustles outside of this pod, I need to know.
There's a lot of projects going on.
Okay.
All right.
Topaz. Topaz, yeah.
Coming back to Topaz.
Big fan of Topaz from way back when.
I've used Topaz for years. Yeah. They had their standalone, recently it's called Topaz Video, but it used to be called something else more technical. But they had a video upscaler, a photo upscaler. They were like the original upscalers.
Using AI.
It wasn't even...
Previously, upscalers
probably machine learning.
Machine learning denoisers and edge detection.
Denoisers were even...
You could denoise without AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would know more than this.
There is mathematical algorithms for that stuff, like turning noise into color information and stuff like that.
I use Topaz Video, and so there are like a bunch of models or methods that you would pick, and it was sort of based on what your source material was and what you're trying to do. Like if you're trying to fix interlacing issues, if you're trying to turn a video into slow motion, or if you're just trying to up-res archival material, which is what I mainly got it for because we were doing a lot of documentary work. And you would get it was good, but you get, mixed results sometimes. And also if the source material was like pretty blurry, there was not a lot you could do with it. Now, a while ago, they rolled out Starlight, which was built into Topaz Video, and that was their sort of first AI diffusion upscaler.
Right. They're on their 7th version now, something like that.
Yeah, Topaz Video 7, which is a standalone desktop app that you pay for.
Yeah.
But then the other week, they just rolled out Astra, which is it's a website, it's still in beta, but it's a separate product, website, you use credits, and they're calling it a creative video upscaler. So you can give it your source footage, and then there's a slider, you can either upscale it and be like, hey,
just upscale,
maintain the consistency as much as possible.
Yeah.
Or you can slide it to take a more creative interpretation.
Love that. So that's where the generative part probably comes in. It's probably attached to some kind of image diffusion or video diffusion model. And that has, they're probably doing some compositing where the upscale is still happening. And then it's weighing what the creative upscaling is and then mixing between the two.
Yeah. It's a good guess.
I mean, it's all software architecture at the end of the day. But you got to interview Manji at AI on the Lot.
I did, yes. So that full interview's up, so you can check that out. And we talked a bit about that. And I mean, I was curious too because I feel like so many of the, sort of generative AI video workflows are, make your image, put your image in the video generator, and then most of these generators are still 720, maybe 1080, or in Midjourney's case, 480, and then run that through Topaz to upscale it, or even not necessarily if just the resolution number is fine, just to give it more detail and to sharpen it. Depending on what your shot is on the AI outputs, a lot of them just lack a lot of detail.
Yeah, I think Asteria, or rather Moon Valley, mentioned that their model is not only ethical, but it's 1080p. It's like one of the first HD models.
Yeah. And also when I talked to Jenny, which they're doing work with kind of documentary recrees for like the TV documentary genre where they're usually don't have a lot of budget to do big historical productions. They had an issue where their outputs were getting flagged by QC of not being sharp enough. And they ran it through Topaz and were able to add the detail and the sharpness back into it. And then it was able to pass QC. Yeah,
in the camera world, we have all of these tests that can vet a camera, right? Like, what is the dynamic range of this camera? What is the circle of confusion performance of this camera, and so on? And that's what a couple of people inside of Netflix do, and that's why they have the Netflix approved camera list, right? Imagine that for AI models, video generation models.
I think that's what we're going to be doing. Or, I mean, if you're doing a production that involves AI, you're probably going to want to do test shoots. I mean, also another project that we talked about. I'm testing out different methodologies because we got to figure out what's the workflow going to be, and we do it on a small scale and figure out what that workflow is going to be so that we can dial it in and kind of have to be consistent, but also if we bring on other people, so we all know this is the workflow, so we're doing the same thing. Because everyone sort of has the more you talk to people that work with Gen AI, they all have their kind of tools they lean to or kind of favorite methodologies they work with. But I've been finding as well, like sometimes like, I will go to a bunch of different tools to get the output that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But then the problem is like they all have like slightly different qualities. And then it just feels a little less consistent in the output. If I'm combining shots from Luma and combining shots from VO, maybe each shot I'm getting what I want.
There's not a consistency across the
like a different style,
whole sequence. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
And it's similar to, sensors or film stocks, and that's the reason
you
they
can't
do.
go from a cut from a Blackmagic camera to a red camera unless you have a really good colorist that can match the two.
Right.
Yeah, but then the AI generation is so baked in, it's hard to modify that.
Yeah, you're not working with a lot of data there.
Yeah, unless AI video generation models open up like some kind of raw format. Right, where you can dial the photorealism up and down, you can dial the dynamic range up and down and stuff like that. Hey dude, that's $1 million idea I just came up with.
Probably get there one day. How much compute is that going to take?
Right, on top of the video generation. Yeah.
We want 10-bit EXR files. Yeah, but anyways, back to Astra.
Yeah, no, we're big fans of Topaz, man. Yeah, you guys keep doing your thing.
Yeah, so Astra, I think it's beta. So that's kind of in the credit system. So I mean, the one nice thing about the Topaz software, you buy the software, you run it on a computer, and it runs locally. Starlight, they do have a local Starlight Mini or Starlight Lite that can run locally on an NVIDIA card. Their other Starlight model, it has to, even though you're in the app, it has to go upload your footage to the cloud and process it in the cloud, and then it brings the footage back down.
Yeah,
Astra's completely cloud-based.
Yeah, cloud-based is the way to go.
When you need that compute powder,
Yeah, even if you have like a 5090 GPU, you can't compete with the cloud because it's elastic.
Yeah, it spin up as many things as you need.
It'll spin up as many H100s or some really high-end GPUs up there.
Yeah.
Also cost you more.
Yes. Yeah. And for everyone that was saying, subscription model, no thanks. A lot of times there's no other way around this.
Yeah. And so when OpenAI charges $200 a month, like that money is going to electricity and people and stuff that runs the cloud.
Yeah. All right. Other update. Technically, this came out like a week ago, but we didn't really talk about it, or 2 weeks ago. FLUX's new Kontext model.
Yeah. So FLUX is also another big OG in the image generation game.
From Topaz Labs.
Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and FLUX were the three that was very early. And I believe at the beginning, Midjourney was based on Stable Diffusion. And I think the history of it is FLUX was founded by some folks that left Stability and went to build their own company. I could be wrong, but
start Black Forest Labs, which makes FLUX. Okay.
So those things happen like within months. So fast forward to 2-3 years later, we now have these three OG companies that have done image generation. So FLUX had Dev and Schnell, which were the two big image generation models. Dev, Schnell, and SDXL are probably the three most popular DIY, hobbyist, even professional grade tools for comfy UI.
Yeah.
So if you want to download something, run it locally and modify the crap out of it, put attachments on it, IP adapters on it, everything. Those are the three models to go to.
Yeah, and have it look good. Yeah, those are like the good local models.
Yeah. So now that Stable Diffusion has moved on to SD 3.5 large, which is obviously a much more complex, heavier model, able to do more photorealistic stuff, able to do anatomy well, text well, all the things that were challenging with SDXL. FLUX has also moved on to a bigger, better, more expensive model. Expensive meaning computationally expensive, which is Kontext. One of the cool things that I thought about Kontext is it eliminates the need for small, lightweight fine-tuning, what LoRa's are typically. So when you want character consistency, the way to do it is just 6 months ago. The way to do it is
a million years ago.
Yeah. So you go on a site like Replicate where you can build a LoRa and, I want cartoon Joey in every shot and I want the same cartoon Joey to be this high, this color, this t-shirt, whatever. And you generate that LoRa, then you attach it to FLUX, Schnell, or SDXL, and then in Comfy UI, you're generating consistent shots.
Yeah, but to generate it, you need like a good 20 to 50 images.
And you have to label it really well. Sometimes you have to remove the background. It's the data grooming that takes longer than the actual model training.
Yeah.
And if you don't groom the data right, then you've screwed up.
Yeah, you're going to have weird outputs.
Yeah. Like Joey can have 3 eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
I did train a LoRa myself, but it was like, I guess all the photos were kind of similar-ish. So then every output, it was always like, So no matter what I would say.
It's like, make Joey sad.
Yeah.
So now Flux Kontext had kind of built that in. So you generate, let's say, Cartoon Joey in Flux One context, and you can call that Cartoon Joey. And then on the next prompt, say, Cartoon Joey is now going to a bar. And then it remembers, it has contextual awareness. It'll pull that in.
It's similar to what we're seeing now and getting used to with like ChatGPT or One Way, where you can just give it a single image of us or the person or whatever and be like, hey, put this person, in a Western city. Yeah. And it just takes the image and has a pretty good understanding of that person and puts them somewhere else. Yeah.
To me, it feels like as the models are getting more and more complex, all of the inner working bits that you and I talk about today are getting swallowed up in it. And I think in a year or two, nobody will even talk about fine tuning or building custom models, because the big models will have the ability to intrinsically do that so well that you just do it.
Yeah. Like, hey, here's this thing. Just, do it. Or even like maybe at some point, just give it a picture of someone and it knows them. And then later on, it's like, oh, hey, put Addy in the scene.
Yeah. It's like, you buy a new iPhone and iOS already has the calendar app, the mail app, the browser in it. You're not, which browser should I plug into my iPhone? Which calendar? I mean,
I use a calendar app, a different one.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm saying like, it's sort of built in and you don't even think about it. You're like, my phone can do calendar, mail, and browser. Why do I need new ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Except if you're a pro like Joey, then
unless you want to use Fantastical or Spark for your email.
Please sponsor us.
So Flux Kontext, it's cool because the demos are interesting because you just give it the image. It has like a lot better spatial understanding. I've seen demos, it's like, you give it a picture of the person. It's like, show me the back of their head. And it like makes an image. And I was like, it looks like, if I move the camera behind them, looks like, it looks like as if I move the camera behind them. I just, or give it an image and it's like, hey, put them somewhere else. And, just from single shot image.
Yeah, my guess is there is some sort of a 3D model that's taking the 2D image, building a crude 3D environment model, and then that's being used to influence the generation for the next one. Right. So there's like a history and a memory associated with this model. And that's probably why you need a cloud-based service, because you need all that stuff to get registered to a user.
And that's the other point with the context model, because I was thinking like, I can get back into Comfy UI and mess around with this thing, but there is no local model. There's no open weight model you can download and run this locally. You have to run it through their API, through their cloud. As of now, they did say that they were going to work on a version that you could run locally, but right now you have to use their API.
Yeah, unless you plan on having like 10 high performance, hot, electricity heavy machines at home, like our future's the cloud, man, with all this AI generation stuff.
All right. Next update.
Yeah, so video models are constantly improving themselves. So obviously we saw VO2 go to VO3, and that was a major bump. It's as big of a bump as when Unreal goes from 5.4 to 5.5. Like, it seems like a tiny little decimal number. Like, man, does it do a lot more. So in that same vein of thought, Minimax, which is built by a Chinese company, Hailuo, is now on a second version. I think it's called O2. Minimax O2 is supposedly, according to some influencers, better than VO3.
The better than the rating stuff, I always find that so weird and subjective, because it's like better at what? Like at what I need to do, what I'm trying to do. But anyways, it's good. It's really...
I think most people look at it in like, most people are not you, Joey. They're not making commercial grade stuff and, making a living off of it. Most people are just prompting and looking at it online and seeing, oh, that looks good. And that doesn't look good. So I think the judgment is either from photorealism, prompt adherence, and perhaps detail and contextual awareness. And
and so they're highlights of like what's new and improved in this model. 1080p output, so pretty big output compared to everything else. SOTA instruction following, so...
SOTA is state of the art.
Yeah, which is weird.
It's nothing fancy. It's just an acronym.
So presumably better at following the written instructions and prompts. And extreme physics mastery, which goes into everything else we talked about of just understanding the physical world. So for photorealism, and the demo shots are showing, clowns blowing fire and circus stuff, which I think is also intentional to demo that, because there have been so many. There's a bear doing backflips, and I've seen a lot of tests. This was gymnastics was like one of the weak spots with a lot of these models. I think even like VO2, there were a lot of tests of just like, hey, have someone do a backflip or, somersault. And it was just like the weirdest distorting body moves and they just weren't trained on it.
Our range of motion is so finicky. Like, we have bones that move in all different directions, but don't move in one, right? And it's hard to train, like your fingers can bend backwards this much, right? And it can bend side to side, but it
can't bend all the way back.
Yeah,
like our knees can only bend one way.
How would an AI know how to?
I mean, I think it depends on what it's trained on. But and I think that's why they're showing, they're demoing the circus stuff.
The other thing that I think a lot of video generation models fail on, and now I'm noticing a lot of demo reels have it, is knife cutting vegetables.
Oh.
Yeah, so the interaction between the knife and the cucumber or the tomato.
Still, because I feel like that's gotten a lot better.
It's gotten better. It's gotten as good as spaghetti eating.
Spaghetti is, Will Smith and spaghetti has gotten very impressive.
But it's still not there. I'm sorry, Mr. Will.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's, I think that's why this demo, they've got a guy on a high wire bouncing around and it looks and then jumping off and landing on someone and it all, like the physics feel.
You and I should just
accurate.
do AI of generative video benchmark standard.
We should figure that out.
I think we have a good idea of what to do and what not to do.
I've debated this because of like figuring out what the baseline prompts would be. But again, I mean, I've also gone back and forth with that too because it's like I guess it's useful to have a couple of like baseline.
Yeah, like if you generate
how it does.
If you generate a sunrise in a dark environment, that would be a good indicator of dynamic range. You would take the brightness level of the sun and the darkest level anywhere else in the frame. That's your real world contrast ratio value.
Yeah.
Whatever the output image is. And we could do a spaghetti thing that could be like a physics test, right?
Yeah. I've been one of my tests was pushing a button because I had this issue a year ago and I was just trying to have someone like, I just wanted a finger pressing a big red button and I had huge issues where it would like rub the button or like massage the button.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. I think I posted I have a tweet about this of like all the issues where it just like would not press the button. And other people were like, yeah, I've had the same issue. Okay. And I did do, I tried it again with possibly VO3, one of the newer models, and it did mostly do it. Nice. But that was like, that's been my own benchmark as well. It's like, can I tell it like finger press this button?
Yeah.
And it does it correctly.
Yeah, for me, it's knife cutting cucumber, knife cutting tomato. Yeah.
I've seen there's another genre now of with VO3 of knife cutting like glass fruit, and it's like a ASMR kind of genre, but like it looks pretty good.
Oh,
a knife cutting like fake fruit that like is like glass fruit.
I like that. That's pretty creative.
Yeah. All right. So Hailuo 2, Hailuo 2. New model.
Yep. And so out of China, you have Tencent with Haiyan, you have Alibaba with WAN, WAN, and Hailuo with Minimax. Those are the three major video models.
And another new one from ByteDance.
Which is TikTok's parent company.
Has gone under the radar, Seedance 1.0. And it has, speaking of ranking, it has the #1 spot in the artificial analysis ranking for text to video and image to video.
Yeah, I don't understand those ranking metrics.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how they measure it. Yeah. But impressive stuff, multi-shot views of the same scene. So being able to create different angles, but be in the same physical space, it has done really well at that. Prompt adherence ranks really high. High motion, there's shots of a surfer in a wave, which looks freakishly accurate.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Diversity of styles, reasonings outside of distribution.
One of the issues with water, with video generation, is the water starts to look like gel. It looks more viscous than it is.
Okay.
Yeah, like I noticed that with, I think I'm going to say Wonder Dynamics. That looks like water, man.
Yeah, that wave looks pretty good.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a little too foamy, though. I don't know. I can always nitpick.
I know. Yeah, you can always nitpick. Yeah, I mean, like his movement looks a little like offish, but I mean, like, this looks pretty good. Yeah, so there's a mini version of the model or a light version of the model you can run on FAL. I don't know if the full model's out yet, or I don't think it's out yet. I think this was like a early preview that they released.
You think Disney's going to sue ByteDance for Seedance?
It depends what output you can make. Like, can you make Mickey Mouse outputs out of it? When I had people have been saying like, oh, you can make, like people are making the Stormtrooper videos and there's other things out of VO3.
That's so good. I sent you one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah. I don't fully know how they're doing it because when I was messing around with VO3, I was trying to even mention like 100-year-old movies. Like I was trying to create some scenes from like, Lumiere Brothers type stuff, and it would block it. And it didn't really say why, but I was guessing it was because I was mentioning some copyrighted like name that was in their system that would block it.
It's like a blacklist.
So I don't know how people are making. I mean, how people are making the Stormtroopers or the Mickey Mouse videos or other things that they're saying VO3 is popping
Maybe
out.
they're leveraging the API, and the API has less set of rules.
Maybe that, or they just like have a very clever way of prompting it to make it look like it.
Also, you could give
mentioning
it
specific words.
Does VO take image reference?
VO2 does.
So maybe they're doing it that way.
Maybe
it goes
that's
back
a good
to
example too. Like if you give it an image of a character and then it makes it into a video, is the model still responsible for generating the video output with the character if the input was?
Yeah. So in my opinion, like this is just me thinking out loud. A video generation model should be able to accept the image, classify it as what it is, whether it's Spider-Man or Stormtrooper or
Mickey Mouse,
Stranger Things IP, and check it against a database of known IP, and then tell the user that, hey, you don't have the permission to generate this video.
Yeah.
Like that's the least that it can do to protect itself from lawsuits.
This is clearly possible because YouTube does this all the time. And will detect what you upload and compare it against anything that already has the copyright ID on it and flag it.
Yes.
Flag it as either you can't monetize it, or we're going to take but you could leave it up, or just flat out, this video is blocked because it contains...
And you don't even need AI for that. That's like old school computer vision.
Yeah. So I think protecting the inputs, going back to the original lawsuit we talked about, it makes the most sense.
I'm sure these things will clamp up over time.
Yeah. Okay. Other update. Krea now has their own image model called Krea 1.
Yeah. Remind me why Krea was on our hearts and minds.
Krea was always interesting because they were the ones that would do the most sort of real-time instant generation. They were the ones that you could either connect your webcam phone or load up any sort of like a camera input and film stuff. And then in real time, it would just start rapidly generating very low res,
like 10 frames a second
images, but like very realistic looking images. I also had another tool where you could roughly kind of block out your scene and move shapes around, and it would instantly update the image based on your style and your text prompt. So it was like very rapidly AI image generation.
I remember that.
That was like their big claim to fame. And then they also had a platform where you can, like most of these platforms, connect it to other models and bring in other tools and sort of be a one-stop shop for generation.
Leonardo had that for a while too.
Leonardo, Flora. I mean, a lot of these tools all have Hydra. They've all started trying to be the like one-stop platform where you just, all they have to do is connect to the APIs of everything else. And then you can just keep generating. But Krea did not have their own image model. Now they do, and some of the things they're saying that it does is help make it more realistic and get rid of the, quote, AI look.
I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got a bunch of varieties on their website.
Yeah.
It feels very, like a lot of stylistic images. It feels kind of similar-ish to Midjourney in the different styles and stuff that you could do. But yeah, I mean, the stuff looks great. They've demoed, obviously, when they demo stuff, it's cherry picking the best stuff. But
under the hood, getting rid of the AI look, I think under the hood, it's really just adding a fine-tuned model that's fine-tuned on photorealistic content. So like stuff that's out of Camera Raw or EXR or something that's just like really high fidelity, very sharp with lots of dynamic range, and then feeding your AI output into this fine-tuned model and then spitting out something that's quote unquote more real.
Yeah. There's a demo too from also from Justine Moore that was showing a comparison of outputs of different women from different models, and Krea sort of had the most kind of realistic, not like perfect smooth skin output, just kind of highlighting like it can keep things more, imperfect, that, mimics
like
real
the
life.
Example there, the Midjourney one is just like clearly
Midjourney,
AI.
just, very smooth, perfect skin.
I would say the GPT-401 looks pretty for real to me.
Yeah.
But then Krea is taking into account specular highlights and direction of lighting really, really
skin
well.
Blemishes.
Skin blemishes. So yeah. I think that may be like also a pass with just facial data. because as humans, like I mentioned this many times on the pod, we are highly susceptible to imperfect and artificial faces. Genetically, since we were cavemen, we have been accustomed to reading faces. We look at faces every day. That's how we build trust. That's how we detect enemy from friend. And so like all those things are built into our brain. So when we detect a face that's like even 1% off, it's uncanny valley. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, we're like, something's weird about this.
Yeah.
I don't know what the pricing of the Krea compares to other models, but new model on the block. Another one.
I'm glad it's all there. The competition's good. And, as we predicted, like there is a new model every week.
Yeah.
And that's probably why we're changing the format of the show a little bit today, right? Just so much to cover.
Yeah, just because sometimes when we're doing sort of 3 stories, it's like, well, there's a lot of stuff happening.
More than 3 stories.
Yeah, especially with each week with AI updates. And then, last one, speaking of other just new apps, Arcads. Arcads AI. So this one's focused on AI actors and...
Yeah, similar to maybe HeyGen.
Or Hydra. I believe they have their own model, which makes it interesting. The main one is sort of like they're a model that's targeting talking actors. So I think their use case is probably UGC ads, stuff like that. But more control over editing the performance and creating the characters.
I heard something really interesting the other day. I forget where, but it was essentially if we create digital talent, synthetic talent, can a talent agency represent them? And then can their likeness be used for product photography or, advertisement?
Like who owns the likeness?
So like, let's say you and I come up with, Mr. Charlie or whatever, like some male model. And then we have like a talent agency represent Charlie. And then we go out and build a commercial for Pepsi or something. And it's Charlie drinking Pepsi. Right. And we have his imagery because we built him from scratch. We have his likeness. We even build in, skin blemishes and all those things that make humans. That could be a whole new business model for talent agencies and creators. What's
the current model with like the existing, they're not AI, but they're synthetic, the CG influencers
like Little Michaela.
Yeah. Which I'd imagine would be a similar model, like
I would think like
a company owns her.
Yeah, right? Brad, who owns Lil Michaela, they are making deals with Skechers or whoever, like these big companies, and they're producing content for them, and it's licensed to Skechers to use Lil Michaela.
Yeah, so I would assume it would be a similar playbook. Like instead of it being CG generated, it was AI generated. But if you're the person or company that created it and owns, obviously I'm trying to think too, because there was the Copyright Office ruling on like what AI generated work can be copyright protected. And so I guess that could come into debate too, because if you're just like, if you like go to ChatGPT and you're like, hey, give me an image of like a cartoon character, that looks like, a male cartoon character.
Sure.
And it spits something out. I believe the copyright ruling was,
that's not copyrightable.
There was not enough human creation involved in the loop.
You can skirt around that by just doing an image reference or a sketch. And that is human interference into the creation. So if Spider-Man doesn't exist. Sorry, folks. If Spider-Man as an IP is able to be licensed and used on products, used on video games, why not a AI avatar that is built by humans? Yeah,
I mean, I agree. I'm sure we're going to see this, if not seen this already. I feel like the AI characters that are generated now are more of like, hey, let me just mass produce AI characters that look like real people to just quickly generate UGC looking ads to spin up on TikTok and try to sell a product.
Yeah.
But we will probably see, if not already, I'm less familiar with this space, AI personalities and characters.
Once we get past the IP lawsuits, this will be the next legal frontier, I think.
Yeah, if someone creates an AI persona, AI character, and then someone else takes that character and starts running their own stuff, and then, the originator of that character tries to sue them, and it's like, hey, like, this is our character, you can't use it. Is that going to be enforceable?
Yeah, and can that digital character join SAG? Right, like it's gonna get crazy. Also, what does this do to the influencer economy? Like, look, I think we can all agree we don't need any more influencers. There's quite a bit out there. What happens to that industry? Does it get decimated, or do they pivot into this new economy of?
I mean, I think, and I've been thinking about this too, just from a sense of even the stuff I'm building with like VP Land and like why I've sort of there are other newsletters and other publications out there, and I feel like you don't really know who's behind them, and I've sort of been more of the face of it, partly for thinking of this reason of like, well, if everything's sort of commoditized and it's easy to spin up a newsletter, it's easy to spin up a YouTube channel, like a faceless YouTube channel, it's easy to spin up AI avatars, then the counter to that would be like the human connection, the human person behind it that you can connect to. Yes, this. And, so I mean, maybe there'll be overall less influencers, but I still think human influencers where you can run into them, you can see them, will still survive and will still have that appeal because it is a real person that you could see outside of the TikTok world. Or
also,
the
it'll
YouTube
force
world.
them to be better at what they do. And just, I think we have a lot of influencer slop right now. We'll see a lot of that go away.
I think it's going to be way more of that.
Well, there's going to be AI influencer slop.
I was thinking of AI. Yeah, a lot more AI influencer slop or just AI. With VO3, there's just so much. There's like the Yeti cavemen selling cameras or something. There's just like so much AI generated ads and channels now that are spinning up that, would fall in the slop bucket. But for sure, people watch them. They have millions of views. Like people, I think going back to stuff we talked about before, like just general public doesn't really care where it came from. It's like, is it cutesy and entertaining? And engaging for me?
Is it able to move products? That's
is it able to move products or just keep people watching? So these people spinning these up can collect a couple pennies for the ad revenue, which, if you're getting millions and millions of views, that turns into real money.
Yeah, I think the litmus test would be when you see an AI generated synthetic model selling something on the Super Bowl, like at that level, $1 million a minute, then the brands see value in it, and clearly the consumers are buying that product.
We didn't even talk about the Kashi ad that ran during the NBA that was all generated with VO3 from PJ Ace, I think that's his name, another kind of big X creator. And it was all
it's leveling up.
Text to VO3 prompts. Really good spot. It's Florida man inspired. So it's a bunch of crazy like Florida people shots, like man on the street interviews and like crazy scenarios.
Okay.
VO3 worked really well for that because it's all just single shots. So it's like, text to video, but it was an ad that was AI generated. It ran on broadcast TV.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Wrap it up.
Yeah. Thank you to one NDR for another 5-star review. We thank you, sir.
Thank you for updating your 3-star review to a 5-star review.
Yes. Can you not give us 3-star reviews,
if your
please?
Review says great show, it should be 5 stars, not 3.
It's I'll say it's really easy on the podcast app too.
You can edit your review.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah, we talked about a lot more stuff than usual. So links for everything that we talked about, as usual, will be at denoisedpodcast.com. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you next week.